What's up, YouTube? This is Trevor, and today I'm going to be talking to you guys about the Blue Jays adding another key player to add into their infield, and that is the addition of Marcus Simien. Now, after 1 week ago today, that the Blue Jays have pulled the trigger to sign George Springer to a 6-year deal worth $150 million. Well, it turns out they weren't done just yet, as the Blue Jays have agreed to sign Marcus Simien to a 1-year deal worth $18 million. And this was first reported by a former MLB All-Star, Carlos Braga, or I can't pronounce his last name, but he posted on his Instagram account that the Blue Jays have agreed to sign Simien to a 1-year deal. And then once we see other MLB insiders like John Heyman, John Paul Morosi, Ken Rosenthal, and Jeff Passan, well, it turns out, we've been just getting some news about Blue Jays signing through some random Instagram and Twitter posts. So with Marcus Simien, he's a former Oakland Athletic. He played really well in 2019, one of his breakout seasons with that I haven't seen from a player who really struggled early in his career with his defense. I think he committed like the most errors among shortstop as a starter, with 35, and then he had 18 throwing errors. So he had some issues with his defense early on, and he also struggles with his bat, as he wasn't hitting for a high batting average. But 2019 was a heck of a year for Marcus Simien. He batted .285 with 33 home runs, 92 RBIs. He was the third runner-up in MVP voting in the American League, and he was also a Gold Glove finalist among American League shortstop. So, obviously, with the signing of Marcus Simien, the plan for the Blue Jays is that Simien will play second base. Bo Bichette will stay at shortstop for now, and Kevin Biggio, I think he's probably going to be viewed as the utility everyday player, meaning that he has the versatility to play anywhere in the infield. He could play all three outfield spots, and depending on whether or not if we get an injury with Bo Bichette, then you could move Simien back to shortstop, and then Biggio could move to second base. And then, the Jays have a lot of flexibility when it comes to their players, because right now, I think if you look at this lineup for the Blue Jays, with the addition of George Springer last week, and now today they just added Marcus Simien, who could be a bounce back candidate. I think for him, for signing a 1-year deal with Marcus Simien, he just makes the lineup for the Blue Jays a lot scarier. Simien did hit more than 30 home runs in 2019. And even though last year was a bit of a down year for him with a .225 batting average, he only hit 7 home runs and 23 RBIs. But for him signing to a 1-year deal, I think this could either help increase his value so that he can test the free agent market next offseason. And we all know that the 2021 free agent class among shortstop is really, really deep, because you got Francisco Lindor, who could sign with an extension with the Mets. He could not. We'll just have to wait and see. But you got Trevor Story, Carlos Correa, Javier Baez, Corey Seager, and now you added Marcus Simien into that mix. That is a really loaded class when it comes to free agent shortstop. So I think this could really help Simien to not only prove himself, that if he can prove that he can be the 2019 form, then you could see him testing the free agent market and look for that contract, that multi-year contract deal that he's been looking this offseason. Because I know the Reds and the Phillies were interested in letting Marcus Semien, But the fact is that the Blue Jays jump up to that conclusion and adding him into that mix, well, I think this is a really good sign for both teams, because for Semien, he can really prove himself on a 1-year deal, and if he rebuild his value, he could test a free agent market next season. And for the Jays, it's only a 1-year commitment. So if it doesn't work out, then the Jays could offer him a qualifying offer, get a draft pick compensation, and then they could explore an infielder, whether it's a shortstop or a third baseman, next offseason. And we know that shortstop class is really good. And it will also be interesting to see if Bo Bichette can handle being an everyday shortstop, because we have not seen Bo Bichette a full season at shortstop. And I think that's part of the reason why the Blue Jays were in on some of the other infielders. Remember, they were in on Francisco Lindor before he got traded to the New York Mets. They had some inquiries about Colton Wong, Andrelton Simmons. So now that Marcus Simien is in the books for the Blue Jays, I think you could pretty much sense that right now their top priority is going to be starting pitching. And I think they need to add at least 2 guys to fill in that spot, because your only lock right now for your starting rotation is Hyun-Jin Ryu. He's the only guy that you could definitely rely on in that rotation. Nate Pearson, our top pitching prospect, has a lot of potential, but we gotta see if he can grow and develop into that front of rotation type of star that everybody envisioned in Nate Pearson. Robbie Ray is a 1-year make it or break it type of deal. If he cannot revert back to his 2017 form when he was named an All-Star and had a 2.92 ERA and striking out more than 200 hitters a season, and control and improve on his walk rate and his control and command, then that could be a big plus. But starting pitching is a must. I don't think Trevor Bauer is an answer. I don't think they're going to spend a lot of money on just one pitcher. There's some second-tier guys like James Paxton, who's a Canadian, has a lot of upside to be a very powerful lefty in that rotation. He just got to stay healthy in order for James Paxton to be an impact pitcher for the Blue Jays. They could look at Jake Odorizzi, who could be a bounce back candidate as well. They could look at Masahiro Tanaka, who's a long-time veteran who pitched for the New York Yankees. And don't be surprised if the Jays are going to be active in the trade market for starting pitching, because right now you look at Sonny Gray and Luis Castillo from the Cincinnati Reds. They both could be in play for the Blue Jays. Kyle Hendricks from the Cubs. I know the Jays had some inquiry about him as part of the Chris Bryant trade. But don't be surprised in the next couple of weeks before spring training, the Jays' focus is to add a starter or 2. And they could use some help in the bullpen. I think pitching has got to be their main focus right now before the season. The position players are fine. I think with the addition of Springer and Semien, it really helps improve the Blue Jays offense by a lot. And there's going to be a lot of thunder power in that lineup, especially if guys like Bo Bichette, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., and Kevin Biggio and Lourdes Gurriel Jr. and Teoscar Hernandez can all be very, very, very good hitters. And 1 through 8 or 1 through 9 can be very, very scary. Kind of like that little reminder of the 2015-2016 season when they have Josh Donaldson, Jose Bautista, Edwin, Troy Tulowitzki, Russell Martin, and all those great hitters in the 2015-2016 class. This Jays offense is going to be very scary to come, and I do think if they could get the pitching that they need, I could definitely see them being over the New York Yankees and the Tampa Bay Rays in the American League East Division. I think they are right there with those 2 teams. Well, that's going to be it for me, guys. I hope you guys like my video. You could hit the comments down below, and you could also subscribe to my channel. Thanks, and have a good day.